Hi, everyone. So, welcome to the stream today. This is our live podcast session. Merry Christmas to everyone who is celebrating Christmas. If you're not celebrating Christmas, also, happy holidays to you. I believe that you are doing well, having fun, and also enjoying the season as you really prepare yourself for the forthcoming year 2026. It's going to be a great year, a lot of things that are going to be happening, and you want to put yourself in the position where you can also become successful. On the podcast today, we're going to be sharing our thoughts on various issues, providing you with some guidelines on what you need to do and how you need to position yourself going into 2026. I'm also going to be sharing my thought on some trending issues, trending topics, all to give us some guidelines on the various things that we have to do. Most importantly, if there are any questions you have, something that you want me to share my thought on, it's a live Q&A session as well, and I'm going to be answering any questions that you have. So if you have any questions for me and something that you would want me to share my thoughts on, please don't hesitate. Put it in the chat for me, and I will be really interested in providing you with some answers so we can become more successful in the discussion today. Give me a moment. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so welcome back to the stream today. And it's a live podcast session. And how has your year been? 2025 has been a very wonderful year for me. There's been some ups and downs, as always, for each year. But the most important thing is that we are alive, kicking, and still working. And it's a privilege. All right. There are a lot of things that probably you had plans that should happen this year, but for some reason they did not happen this year. But hey, you're still alive, kicking, and you have the opportunity to go at it again 2026. And that is why we need to really position ourselves to become more successful 2026. Now, for me, 2025 has been that up and quite tragic on some part and quite interesting on another part. I mean, for the first time for me, I buried my only sister, right? My younger sister. Had died, and then we needed to bury her, and it was one of the striking moments for me that day when I realized that this is the last day I'm gonna see her again, and the whole thing, her children, the family, everybody, and it really got to me, right? And I realized that, that's life. One day you are here thinking that hey, you can do all there is to be done. The following day you are no more, and that's it. And it was tragic for me, and other things that happened during the year which I had no expectation for. And that is the beauty, if you want, of life, where things are going to happen which you didn't plan for, which you didn't ask for, and nobody is going to prepare you for anything. You cannot be prepared for anything that you think you are going to be doing in your life. So the only thing you can do is to ask God for the grace to be able to really walk in a manner that whatever happens, you will be able to deal with it, overcome it, and most importantly, continue to live your life. And that is why it is important you structure your life going into 2026 very well. Because one of the things that will be very common, and it's very common, is that when the year is coming to an end like this, people are sitting down, people are reflecting, and you see people having a lot of things like New Year resolution. Hey, Charlie, next year, dear, I want to lose weight. Next year, I want to start my business. Next year, I'm going to marry. Next year, I'm going to buy a car. Next year, I want to do this. Next year, I want to do that. Yes, it is good to have a New Year resolution and all that. But the best thing that I've seen is to just put yourself in the position where God can allow things to happen and you will discipline yourself very well. Because you see, you can have a tall list of the things you want to achieve in 2027, but if you don't have the discipline, you don't have the mindset, you don't have the attitude, you are going to see yourself walking through 2026, and nothing is going to happen for you. And later on, if care is not taken, you're going to come and now blame everybody else for your own miserable life. And so one thing you want to do as you prepare yourself to enter the new year is to sit down and ask yourself, what one thing is it that when you get right as an individual, everything else will almost always be good for you? So maybe next year you are like, oh, you want to buy a new house. Okay. You want to marry. You want to take your children to a better school. You want to take better care of yourself. You want to go to the gym. You want to do this. You want to do that. You want to lose weight. Maybe you're below and you want to lose weight and all of those things. Yeah, you can list 20 things down. But this is the thing. Out of those 20 things, which one is it that if you excel at, you're going to be good? Because I was in a conversation with a friend recently, and her question was very simple for me. Her question was, Nhyira, what are the things you want to do in 2026? And my response was direct. I was like, I want to become a better version of Nhyira Premium. Then she was like, okay. So she was expecting another thing, and I'm like, that's all. Because she had listed the things that she wants to do in 2026, and here I am. I'm like, I want to be a better version of Nhyira Premium. And she was like, that's all? I said, yeah, that is all. Because if I can be a 20% or 30% better version of myself, what it means is that I can relate better with people. I can have more emotional intelligence. I can make more money because, I can then position myself better to become more valuable in the marketplace and make more money. Definitely it means that I can have a better life. So if I can make Nhyira Premium better and I can be the best version or a better version of myself in 2026, all other things will be good. What that means then is that I need to be somebody who has some discipline, because almost always people want to become successful, but only a few people actually have the discipline to succeed. So the question I want to ask you is this. Are you going to discipline yourself for your vision, for your dreams, for your aspiration going into 2026? It doesn't matter the list you write down, Charlie, because, you hear people say that, oh, speak your vision into life. Speak your vision. Yeah, it is free to dream, but the price has to be paid. If everybody can speak things into existence, then they happen, then the world, there will not be any good thing in the world. So it is good for you to write down your vision, write down your goal, speak, prophesy, and do all of those things. You don't become successful just because you prayed, fasted, or drank anointing oil. Success in life doesn't come just because you speak in tongues from the morning to the evening. Yes, there is a place for fasting. There is a place for prayer. Heck, if you want to drink anointing oil, go ahead. There may be a place for that. But your success in life is not just because you are a prayerful person, just because you fasted. But it is because, in addition to all that, you know how to relate in the earth realm. Because many a times, people have all these goals, these dreams, these aspirations, but are not willing to do what it takes to actually make the dream become successful. So let's say that you are oversized, right? You are obolo, what we call here in Ghana, obolo, and you want to become a better version of yourself. You want to work on yourself. You want to become a better version of yourself, and you don't want to go under any surgery. You want everything to be natural. Okay. If you want to have a better body, then you got to go to the gym, exercise regularly. Okay? You need to check your diet. You cannot eat by heart. All right? You need to know the time of day you need to eat. You need to change your diet. You need to change your lifestyle. It's there. It's not about, no, it's there. You can do it. But you see, many people lack the discipline to regularly exercise. Many people lack the discipline to regularly eat what they are supposed to eat so they can have the body that they want to have. Or maybe you are like, oh, next year, 2026, I'm going to build my first house, or I'm going to buy another car or my new car, or I want to marry and provide a better life for myself and my children. It's a good dream. It's a good aspiration. But my question to you is this: would you have the discipline to be able to execute it? Because you see, let's say next year you say, hey, you want to buy land, you want to build a house. Then the year starts, you get your salary and you are flexing with the boys. You get your salary, you are chasing around girls. You get your salary and you are buying the new phone, a new watch, a new suit, a new this, a new this. How can you achieve financial freedom? And the reason is because you want to belong. Listen, success is not about how you appear today. It's not about how you are living today. It's about how you're going to live tomorrow. It's about sustainability. So whatever lifestyle that you adopt today, which is my rule of thumb, is can you sustain this lifestyle into the foreseeable future? And that requires discipline. That requires a certain mindset and requires a certain way of life as an individual. So what am I saying? Whatever your dreams are, whatever your aspirations are, whatever your goals are for 2026, have it. Dream it. Speak it into existence. Whatever it is you want to do. But you must understand, that dream will not come to pass because you spoke it out. That dream will not come to pass just because you prayed. That dream will not come to pass just because you drank anointing oil. That dream is going to come to pass because you consciously worked your way out. Because you see, God can part the Red Sea, but you need to have the boldness to walk in the middle of the ocean, knowing and trusting that the ocean will not turn on you. And that is the miracle that you must understand. God is going to part the Red Sea for you, where you have to walk through. Because you see, sometimes we read some things in the scriptures and we just look at it anyhow. Because the Red Sea has been parted. You can see a dry floor, and God is telling you, walk through it. Because God cannot fly you over the sea. He can part it. He says, walk through. Now, you got to trust that, hey, I need to walk through this and nothing is going to happen. Although the water is on my left, it's on my right, I trust God who is going to hold me to walk through the Red Sea. And that is what discipline means. That is what your action means. So God is going to do his bit of the contract, but you must also be willing to discipline yourself to do your part. Imagine God has parted the Red Sea and the children of Israel were still standing there and they don't want to go. What would have happened? They would have been killed, and that story wouldn't have been the way it was. What am I trying to say? Whatever you are trying to achieve next year, 2026, yes, you can write it down. You can speak it into existence. You can prophesy about it. You can fast about it. You can blow in tongues for 27 hours about it. But when you finish all that, you must be willing. You must discipline yourself, and you must know that you have a role to play, and there is something that you must do to bring you to the level that will make you to become successful. And that is the thing you must understand. Because, listen, you're going to be enthusiastic in the first few days. When we enter 1st January, you're going to come. But by the 16th of January, 17th of January, many people are going to revert to auto reset. Why? Because what you wanted to do, you lose your grounds and you are just trusting God. Oh, I'm trusting God. There are people who, when you speak to them, all they say is, I'm trusting God. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, you trust God, but there are things you have to do yourself. So you want to start a business. Then you are like, yo, I'm trusting God to start my business next year. Okay. Have you registered your business? No. Have you done a market research? No. Do you know who your customers are? No. Do you know how you're going to sell your product? No. Do you have a website for your business? No. So you are trusting God to start a business that what? That God is going to just birth the business and put your name on it, then you will start the business? Like how? Again, there is a role of God in everything because life is spiritual. So you need to know when to take action and when God is going to come in. And this is something that is important in us, is on my heart that I want to open the podcast with today. That 2026 is going to be a great year. 2026 can be your best year. But 2026 will not just be your best year because you prayed well, because you fasted well, because you drank anointing oil. It's not going to be your great year because you are a righteous person. No, because God brings the rain on both the righteous and the sinner. God's favor is available. Have you wondered why sometimes people argue that, there are some people who are not Christians. They don't go to church, but their life seems to be going ahead. Yeah, because they obeyed. They understand the spiritual rules of life. There are some of you, you think, because you pray, because you fast, and you blow in tongues, and these days, the way there are some levels of tongues that people speak, and you're like, hey, really? That one alone is not what is going to make your life. You remember in the Bible, there was a man who was not a Christian, but he was doing good. He was doing good. And one day the disciples of Jesus went to his house, I've forgotten the name of this man, and they said, your giftings, your charity has become a memorial before the throne of God. And this guy, per the standards, was not a Christian. So if you were on the outside as a spiritual person, as a Christian, you're going to say, this person is not born again. This person doesn't go to church. This person is not a Christian. This person is a pagan. But here we are, that person's good works, that person's life is a memorial before the throne of God. So you must understand that it is not just about what you speak into existence. There is a role you have to play. So whatever it is you want to do in 2026, you must take the necessary actions. If you want to build a house in 2026, don't just say, I'm trusting God to build a house in 2026. Okay, yeah, we're going to trust God, but you got to sit down. What kind of house do you want to build? Where do you want to build a house? Have you asked of the land? Have you asked of the architectural drawings? How much is that going to cost you? Have you asked how much they're going to charge when they build that house you want to build? Because you don't just sit down and say, I'm trusting God to build a house next year without knowing where you are going to build a house, the cost of the land, the architectural work, the mason, everything. Without knowing, then you are just sitting there. I'm trusting God. No, the God doesn't work like that. So you need to put yourself in that position where you are trusting God to help you. You are trusting God to enlarge your territories. Then you are also going to do what is required. So if you want to build your house next year, by this time, you should start speaking with some people, real estate companies. Okay, they say that there is a land here. Maybe you will go for some site visiting. Yeah, you don't have the money now, but you are trusting God. But you need to know where the lands are, how much they are. They will be. Okay, if you want to build 2-bedroom, whatever, what will be the architectural cost? What will be this? You must have the finances of all of those things. Then, okay, so how can you finance this? All right, then that means that maybe you need a promotion at the workplace or you need to increase how much money you are making. Then once you start doing that, you now create the room for God to bring the resources. But if you're just sitting down, I'm trusting God. I'll build a house next year, but you don't know the house you want to build. You don't know the cost of land. You don't know the cost of any building. How is God going to bless you? So you must understand that God is going to play his response. God is going to do what he has to do. But you also have a responsibility. And as I said, the lesson from the children of Israel, the Red Sea is going to be parted. There will be a dry land. But God is not going to fly you over the Red Sea. All he's going to do is to open the Red Sea. But you must have the boldness to walk on that dry land and trust that the water will not come over you and drown you. God is going to provide the manna. You must get up from your house and go out and pick up what you are going to eat for that day. God is going to bring the water out of the rock. God is going to send the quails in the desert. But you must have the discipline to rise up and go there and fend for yourself. Because you see, we have a lot of people in our society who just think that, they can pray and things should just come to them because they prayed. No. So going into 2026, you want to put yourself in that position where you are becoming better of yourself. Whatever you want, sit down and think about it well and plan it out. And this is one thing you must understand, and that is what one of my mentors, Dan Locke, will call smelling the leather. So his theory is, and that was what I shared with you a moment ago. Maybe you want to buy a car, right? You don't have the money now for the car. Visit the showrooms, dress well, and go to the showroom. Go there. Check the car, the price, the functions, everything. Go for a test drive. Yeah, you don't have the money now, but you got to know how it feels like. You're going to know how much it's going to cost you to maintain this car, to have this car. So you don't say, I'm waiting. When I get the money, I'll buy the car. You're going to wait for a long time because the universe is going to be shattered on you. You need to smell the leather. You need to know how it feels like. You need to understand what you're doing. You need to plan things out. And that is what you must understand. So 2026, it's going to be a great year. It doesn't matter what your experience has been this year, 2025. Some of you, maybe you have not achieved even 5% of the things you set out to achieve at the beginning of this year. And that is quite frustrating because if you are not able to achieve the things that you wanted to achieve, it's going to be quite frustrating. But the key thing you must understand here is this. You have a better chance to make your 2026 a great year. So plan it out well. Put yourself in the position where you can actually become successful in 2026. Yes, life is spiritual. I say this all the time. God is going to make a way for you. Yes, it's true. But when God makes the way, you need to have the discipline to walk the way. God is going to open the door for you, but he's not going to push you through the door. God is going to take you to the riverside, but you have to have the thirst to drink. God is going to give you the opportunity to get access to abundance of resources, but you must have the capacity to be able to handle that resources. It's like a young lady who is like, I'm praying. I want to marry a wealthy man. I speak into my life. I will marry a wealthy man. I will marry a successful man. I will marry a wealthy man. My question to you will be this. Do you have the capacity to handle wealth? You don't have the capacity to handle wealth, it will never come your way. It will never come. So if you're saying, hey, I want to marry a rich man, I want to marry a wealthy man, hey, I speak into my existence, I want to marry a rich man, do you have the capacity to meet a rich man? Do you have what it takes for a rich, a wealthy, a successful man to look your way? Do you have what it takes to handle the portfolio, the lifestyle of a rich, a successful man? 99.9% of the time, people do not have it. So you have to check. Whatever you are looking for, you must build the capacity to be that, to handle that. If you can build the capacity to build that, to handle that, to be that or to handle that, I can guarantee you, you will definitely become successful in 2026. So that is what I want to start with on the podcast today. And it's our live podcast session, and we're going to be doing a lot of these going into the future, in addition to the other sessions we do exclusively for students writing the ICAG and the ACCA examination. So if there are any questions you have, please put them in the comment section or the chat for me. I will really be excited to answer some of the questions as we get into the discussion. All right, so let me quickly bring up one topical issue that I want us to share our thoughts on, and it is the concept of gratitude. One of the things that I need you to really work on as a human being is to learn to be grateful when people show kindness to you. Because you see, one of the things we see in our society is we have a lot of entitled ingrates who do not appreciate anything. And this is coming from two angles, and I want to play something to you, and you listen to this carefully with me.
Abogafo no ɛyɛ na momo haw ne enti abogafo no ɛyɛ na momo haw ne sɛ abogafo no ɛyɛ na momo haw ne sɛ wobɛgye di sɛ for the past 3 weeks boga bi wɔ me die mu dendenden. And mommy, I want to send you Christmas gifts. I want to send you Christmas gifts. I want to send you Christmas gifts. And I'm so mad. Say, would you scanner? Just send me. Be your person. After that, 4 days ago, me was scanner already. What send this scan? Me calls be brave. Me share 438 CDs. What's that calculating? 438 CDs. You did bro. 438 CDs. You did bro. I don't better chewing gum, and I'm better from Kutonkunsa.
Now you see, these are some of the kinds of things in our society which really makes people to become ruthless in life at the end of the day. Now, someone says, hey, I want to, give you something for the Christmas. And the person sends you 438 Ghana cedis. And you are like, why send me 438 Ghana cedis? Why? What will I use 438 Ghana cedis for? Sometimes you sit down and you look at people and their mindset, and you know that, yeah, definitely these people are just total ingrates. Because someone is gifting you. Someone out of their own will give you something. And this is the same attitude that I saw recently, because there was a video on X, formerly Twitter, on X, where some teachers who received some gift from the parents of students, okay, the children they are teaching, some of their parents had given them gifts to be given to their teachers. And some of these teachers had recorded videos, and they were disrespecting and insulting the parents of these children. Look at me. I have taught your children throughout the year. Look at what you are sending me. What do I use this for? And I'm like, who the heck are you? No, who the heck are you? You were a teacher. Aren't you paid your salary? You were a teacher. Don't you receive your benefit from your employer? It is a gift. That is why it's called a gift. If someone gifts you something and you don't like it, you have two options. Return the gift to the person and tell the person, thank you, I don't like it. Or number two, shut up and keep quiet. Because it is so annoying that someone out of their kindness will give you a gift Then you put a phone on yourself and record and ask, oh, what should I buy with 438 Ghana cedis? What can I do with 438 Ghana cedis? I have taught your children from January to December. You are giving me gift. You've given me Kobe and Momoni. You are giving me gift. You are giving me Bell Cola. What do I do with Bell Cola? That is not a good attitude. Because you see, in this life, nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. So if someone out of their own heart shows you any kindness at all, the best thing you can do as an individual is just to be grateful for the kindness that they have shown you. You don't put a phone on yourself and be recording and be making noise that, look at me. You say you will give me a gift for my Christmas and you sent me 438 Ghana cedis. What should I use 438 Ghana cedis for? Is it to buy chewing gum? No. Use it for Chupa Chop. Do you know Chupa Chop? Go and use it for Chupa Chop. As a matter of fact, go and use it to buy Tiro. You see, our society is becoming so entitled in such a way that it's really, really heartbreaking. When I saw that video about teachers especially, I was like, what the heck? A parent out of their way have packaged a gift, given it to their children and brought it and sent it that, hey, go and give this to your teacher. Then you have the effrontery as a teacher to set up a camera on yourself to insult the parent for the gift they sent you. Are you stupid or something? Are you dumb? Is it something that is wrong in your head? Do you think the parents have any obligation to give you anything? No. And as I was watching that video, I was asking myself, what is giving these people the effrontery to speak the way they are speaking? And 9 out of 10, if I have my way, you're going to lose your job as a teacher. Straight up. If I gave my children something to be given to you, and I see you online recording and insulting me, I will make sure you lose your job. The following day, you will lose your job. Yeah, because you don't think. You are not wise. Nobody is under obligation to do anything for you. Nobody is under obligation to show you kindness. So the world is brutal. Everybody is thinking about themselves, how they can do something for themselves, their children, their family. The world is brutal. So if somebody out of their own heart come out and say, oh, listen, you are a teacher for my children. I don't have anything. Maybe I have yam for you. Or maybe I have some Kobe for you. You go and use it for something. Or these are some beverages that I'm buying for you. You please take this, and then you set up a phone on yourself and insult the parent or insult the person who gave you the gift. What is wrong with you? We cannot build our society like this. And that is why sometimes people never show any kindness. Because we have a lot of entitled ingrates in our society who feel that if you do something for them, it's what you want to do, and that is all. But that is not how the world is supposed to be. When I do something for my mother's reaction, sometimes I'm dazzled. Like my mother's reaction anytime I do something for her, I mean, she's praying, she's thanking me like this, like I'm like, you are my mother. You are not supposed to do this. But she does that. And if I do something to another person, you see the way people react, you are like, so what were you expecting? They will not show any gratitude. It's like, did I even ask you to do it? Whatever the heck, you can do it and go away. Yeah, that is why some of you will continue to struggle in life. Because you are entitled and you are full of stupidity. I know my words may be harsh, but it's absolute stupidity. Listen, If someone gifts you something and you don't like it, package the thing and send it to them and say, I don't like it. Or number 2, receive the gift, shut up, and sit down. But the worst thing you can do as an individual is to receive a gift from somebody out of their care for you, then you set up a phone, turn on the camera, record insults, and post it on social media. What are you trying to do? That they are stupid? That they don't think? No, they thought of you. If everybody thought of you like that, your life would have been better. If everybody thought of you like that, your life will be easy. And so this is something that is going on in our society that we have to deal with. People will show you kindness. It will not be that what you want, but if they show you kindness, please be grateful. Be grateful when people show you kindness, because nobody owes you anything. So when I saw this young lady's video, it just connected with the teacher's misbehavior, and I'm like, what is going on in our society? You cannot do that. Yeah, a young man, he is outside of the country, wants to give you a Christmas gift, and he sends you 438 Ghana cedis. So you put a camera on yourself and you are asking stupid questions. What do I do with the 438? Should I buy chewing gum with it? No. Go and buy Sobolo Soba with it. Go and buy Sobolo Soba with it. Does he owe you anything? No. He doesn't owe you anything. If everybody around you, everybody you know, everybody who talks to you sends you 438 Ghana cedis, maybe at the end of the year, you would have made 100,000 or more Ghana cedi. So what am I saying? Be grateful. When people show you kindness, it doesn't matter the size. Be grateful. It doesn't matter what they do. No matter how small it is, be grateful. You know why? Because you see, people who would think of you and show kindness to you are the people who will open doors for you at some time in the future. So imagine I am a parent and I gave something to my daughter to bring to you as a teacher. Then only for me to now look on social media and you have recorded a video insulting parents who have brought you a gift. Do you think if I see you somewhere struggling, looking for a job, in need of something, you think I will give you? No. I will allow you to die. And you can call it heartlessness because your stupidity will cause you to suffer in life. If you are stupid, you will suffer in life. And these are some of the reasons why if you read the Bible, foolishness and stupidity is referred to more, over hundreds of times in the Bible, because the heart of man is full of stupidity. So listen, as you prepare yourself to go into the future, you want to put yourself in the position where you understand that, number one, nobody owes you anything. Number two, the world is a brutal place. Number three, if someone shows you kindness, it is a sacrifice they have made. That is something they could have used on themselves or they could have given to their family people, but they chose to give it to you. For that reason, if at least you don't have anything to do, just keep quiet. That's all. If you don't have anything to do, keep quiet. If you can't say thank you to them, if you cannot pray for them, if you cannot be happy for what you receive from them, just keep quiet. But never, ever in your entire life, for the rest of your life as you live on this planet, receive a gift from somebody and put a phone on yourself to insult the person. Because when you do that, you open yourself up. It then means that everybody around you, now when they want to give you something, they are going to be careful. Because they will ask themselves, okay, the last time somebody gave you this and you insulted the person. Okay, now that they are thinking of giving you something, what should they give you? Because they are afraid. Maybe if they give you something that you don't like, you will all again come online and come and insult them. So literally, you are closing yourself up and you are preventing people to be kind to you. And that is something that I don't want to see. Ungrateful. I'm a teacher. I mean, you know me, right? I'm a teacher. I teach. You think I expect anything from my students? No. But if any of my students show me kindness, I am grateful. There was a time I was somewhere and I was in a queue. So I was just in the queue waiting for my turn. Then all of a sudden, a young lady came and said, Mr. Nhyira, please follow me. I'm like, follow me? Okay. So follow. Climbed the stairs, went into the office. Then I saw the manager. The tag was there, manager, his name, sitting down there. Then he says, Mr. Nhyira, sit down. Then I sat down. He said, oh, welcome. I attended your class some time ago. It helped me a lot. I saw you in the queue from the CCTV camera, so I asked them to come and bring you up. What can we do for you? And I was assisted. Then I took his number, and then I finished. I left, got to the office. I called him, and I was like, thank you very much. I'm grateful. The following morning, the same thing, I called him. Then he was like, and I'm like, yeah, thank you for that, because I was really in a hurry, but then you helped me, and you had saved me a lot of time, and I'm grateful for the kindness you show me. He said, oh, it's okay. But that is life. Whatever people do for you, you need to be grateful. You need to be grateful, because that way it opens more doors for you. But you have not done anything in your entire life. You've not achieved anything in your entire life, and you're insulting people. So this is something that I want us to really deal with. It's an attitude that I see a lot. There are people who are ungrateful. There are people who are entitled. There are people who think, I didn't ask you to do. Sometimes even in relationships, right? In relationships, you will see a young man struggle all his life, take care of a lady. One of the dumbest things somebody can do, improve the life of somebody without adding value to your life. But we move. Spend the money on the lady. Make the lady's life better. Then later on, the lady will turn around and say, I didn't ask you to do anything for me. Like, sometimes you sit down and you watch those people speak, and you are like, do you have brain cells? I didn't ask you to do anything for me. Did I ask you to pay my fees? Did I ask you to pay my hostel fee? Did I ask you to help me? What did I beg you to do this for me? Oh, really? You didn't ask. So he was stupid for doing it, right? But you see, when you do that, you are digging yourself down, and it's going to cost you for the rest of your life. So as we are going into 2026, you want to go into 2026 with an attitude of gratitude. You must go into 2026 with an attitude of gratitude. Be somebody who is going to be kind to people. And if people show kindness to you, no matter how small it is, be grateful. Never pick up a phone or sit somewhere and insult people for their kindness. See, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There was a time, the same thing. There was this young lady who said it was her birthday and the boyfriend had sent her pizza. And the lady had, again, recorded herself and was insulting the guy. My birthday, it was pizza you bought for me. When it was your birthday, I bought expensive shirt for you. Me, it is my turn. You bought me pizza. What do you want? Lamborghini. You want what? Ferrari. Or you want Rolls Royce. Oh, you want a trip to Dubai. Oh, okay, okay, okay. No, you won't get it. He doesn't have it. What he has is what he gave you. So shut up and be grateful. Be grateful. And that is the lesson you have to take away, that in the little things of life, think and be grateful when people show you kindness. Because if you can think and be grateful when people show you kindness, you can become more successful because you open yourself up more at the end of the day. So that is my first story that I want to share with you on the pod today, that you need to be grateful and never allow anybody to take advantage of what you're doing. I'm seeing some comments coming up here. Let's see if I can bring it up. Any questions you have, it's a live Q&A session as well, as today being a special, 25th. So if there are any questions you have, something you want me to share my thought on, or any comment you have on some of the things that I'm sharing, please don't hesitate. Put it in the comment section or the chat for me. I want to hear from you. Nini Wisa said, imagine the audacity. That's the entitlement syndrome at play. That's why I stopped gifting some folks. Wisa, that's the problem in our society these days, right? But you don't have to stop. Kindness is great. So just be kind. And don't allow ingrates to prevent you from being who you are. All right? Because it's disheartening when you show kindness to someone only for them to turn around and insult you for your kindness. I understand where you are and how you feel, but don't stop gifting people. All right? Yeah. Don't stop. Just be kind to them. It's okay. Okay. Allow them to misbehave. But it's okay. But I understand your feeling there in that case, because people have some level of audacity that you cannot understand in that regard. Now, the second story that I want to share with you today on the pod is this story about a judgment that the Supreme Court of Ghana has given in respect of marital properties. Who has the right to marital properties? And it is one of the things that I have been praying for literally for some time now, because up until that judgment, people have suffered a lot of loss. We have had stories where people are together as spouse, and then, for some reason, the man does a DNA test. There was a story like that. The man did a DNA test, and none of the 4 children, they've been together for over a decade, and none of the 4 children also was the man's child. And the marriage has to be dissolved. But the woman had the audacity to take the issue to court to demand 50% of the man's property on top of that. And many people have gone through this, where this 50% property deduction, so people are, in the position where they marry, they divorce, then they get 50% of the property, then they are walking around chilling. But the Supreme Court has given a ruling about this, which I think will really change the way some people look at this. So let me go through this with you quickly on the pod today. Let me see if I can pull it up on my screen here. Can I do that? I don't know whether I can pull it up. Let's see. Let me change my shot here. Yeah, I can pull it up. So give me a moment. So I can. No, I'm not replacing. Let me see if I can connect to my iPhone here. Because I want us to delivered a landmark ruling, like Aisha to Abdul and Kadril, versus Aisha to Abdul Kadir versus Abdul Jamina and Mrs. Abena Pokwa versus Yao Kwachi, clarifying that marriage doesn't automatically make all property joint. Spouses can have separate economic lives and own property individually, challenging the old presumption requiring focus on actual contribution for jointly acquired assets and allowing for prenuptial agreement to define property ownership clearly. Because you've heard stories where women will do properties and then they will hide their property. And then in the divorce, their properties have been hidden. So the man's property, let's share 50-50. Now the Supreme Court is saying that, hey, that thing we are stopping. And I think it's a story that has developed that I think, give me a moment. I think my sound. All right, so I think my stream stopped a little bit. So, unlike the previous norm where, people will have the property straight up like that coming in, now it's not like that. Because previously, it's the man's property and that is what will be divided or shared. But now, Supreme Court's ruling is saying that, the fact that we acquired any property does not mean that you, the woman, or you, the man, you have a right to the property. You have to prove actual contribution in the acquiring or acquisition of the property. If not, you don't have a right in it. Now, so what are the key principles from this ruling that really is important? The first principle is separate economic lives are allowed. So spouses have a constitutional right to maintain separate economic lives and acquire property in their name, exclusion during marriage. What does that mean? It means that gone are the days where people are making properties and hiding it. So people will make the property and put it in their mother's name, in their father's name, and all of those things. What the Supreme Court ruling is saying that, hey, don't worry yourself. You have the right to own property in your name. It doesn't have to be jointly married. It doesn't have to be a jointly owned property. And that is a good thing because it will bring a lot of transparency in marriages. Because I always wonder, how is it that we are married or you are married and you are lying on the same bed with your spouse, but you are hiding your properties from your spouse? How is it that you say, oh, we love each other till death do us apart, and you are lying on the same bed, but you are making properties and hiding them because you are thinking that if something bad happens in the future and you have to separate, then that property, nobody will see it. Now, this Supreme Court ruling is giving us an idea that, hey, listen, everybody can have a separate economic life. So you want to, this property is for me. I just bought this property. So that the woman can also buy her property in her name, no problemo. It's allowable. Number two, it dispels the presumption. So the court has moved away from the automatic presumption that all property acquired during the marriage is marital property. So it means now that the properties acquired during the marriage, it's not automatically the marital property that we have to share. No. 3, focus on contribution. This is where the key thing is. For property to be shared, there must be proof of joint acquisition or contribution, even if acquired during the marriage. Very important. So if the man buys a house or buys a land and builds a house, and you, the woman, did not contribute anything into that, and you don't have any proof of contribution towards that building, although we are married, you have no right in that building. Same thing happens if a woman also takes her money and develops or has acquired some properties, and the man does not have any evidence of proven contribution, that property is not a marital property. It is just the woman's property. 5, intent matters. Properties acquired with individual financing, gifts, or intent for separate benefits like certain shares aren't automatically shared. And then 6, clarity for planning. These rulings help reduce uncertainty, enabling spouses to confidently pursue business ventures and investment. And in my opinion, I think this is important because if we can have this, then it's a good thing for everybody, generally at the end of the day. So that, again, you don't have to be the one hiding properties. How do you say, honey, I love you? You are the air in my house. You are the apple on my tree. You are my king. You are my princess. You are my this. You are my that. You lie on the same bed, and then you are doing properties and hiding it from each other. Because everybody is planning for the exit. So that in case it is time for divorce, everybody can fall on those secret properties. How do you live that life? I think it is unfair. So this ruling, it's a good ruling in my opinion. Okay, it's a good ruling in my opinion. And I think that going into the future, it is going to bring a lot of trust. Okay, in the relationship. Now, I have heard people, some women saying that, it means then that we will contribute. Because you see, one of the dumbest things you also hear online is the average woman saying that, my money is my money, his money is our money. So the man there, he doesn't have brain. But you there, you are wise. So your money is your money, but the man's money is the house's money. So this kind of judgment would then means that, okay, if at the end of the day, whatever property the man builds, since you didn't contribute anything, whatever property the man makes, if it is time for you to divorce and you are walking out of the marriage, you are likely to walk out with zero. Yeah. That is the impulse of the judgment. You are likely to walk out with nothing because the man has acquired the property, has built these properties, and you have no contribution into it because you said your money was your money, his money was the family's money. So because you had no contribution or you didn't make any contribution, it means you're going to walk away with it, nothing. And that is something that is very important that you must really understand when it comes to something like this. And so I think it's a great judgment, in my opinion. It's going to bring a lot of trust into relationships. Into marriages. So that we now understand that, okay, if we want this marriage to work, then we must work at it together and not leave it to just one person in that particular case. And that is what you must understand there. Then another story that I want to talk about here, which was also something crucial, was the Constitutional Review Committee's recommendations that they have made on the various things that must be done here in Ghana. And so I want us to go through some of the things, bring them to your attention, because if you are somebody who is in Ghana, you should be interested in some of these things. So let's go through the top 10 recommendations that have been made by the Constitutional Review Committee. And I'm going to share my thoughts on some of those things and see what we need to look at there. Right. So, what are the recommendations made by the Constitutional Review Committee? Top 10 that we want to go through quickly. The first one is to extend presidential and parliamentary terms to 5 years. Because remember, currently the term is 4 years. And now they are recommending that it should be 5 years instead of 4 years. What are your thoughts? In my opinion, I mean, it should still remain at 4 years. There's no need to increase it to 5 years. We should maintain the 4 years. And as a matter of fact, for the parliamentarians, I think it should be rotated every 2 years. Rather. Okay, so the parliamentarians should have 2 years, 2 years. Okay, that will bring some level of seriousness in some of them in relation to the way they act and carry out their things. So 5 years, it's too long. Let's just stay with the 4 years, in my opinion. Then maybe parliamentarians, we can do them rather for 2 years. Now, somebody would then ask, what can parliamentarians do for every 2 years? No, it's for you to prove your value to your constituents so that if your constituents cannot see what you are doing for the constituency, they don't have to wait for 4 years to change you. They can change you within 2 years. Right? So that is what I think will be better, in my opinion, where it's every 2 years. But that will also cost because of the kind of politics we practice here in Ghana. But the extension of the presidential term to 5 years, I think the 4 years is okay. We should just maintain the 4 years and then keep it going at that for the 4 years. 5 years, 4 years, I mean, we just need to be strategic. Because, for instance, many a times when new administration comes, it's like the first 2 years, they really don't do anything significant. So by the time they start doing something, they're already preparing for election. But there is a little change on that, especially on this new Mahama 2.0 administration, because once they came into office, they started doing things. All right, they started taking actions, implementing things, not waiting for other people. So we just need to restructure the way our politics works, not really have to extend the presidential and parliamentary terms to 5 years. The 4 years should be adequate enough. It will be better like that to put people in their toes to be able to work very well at the end of the day. The second thing is to separate parliament from cabinet. You know, currently, as per the constitution, majority of the ministers of state must be appointed from parliament, okay? From parliament. And so that makes separation of powers a little difficult. So they are recommending that members of parliament can no longer be appointed as government ministers. And I think this is a point, this is a recommendation in the right direction, because there are many a times where, because majority of the members ministers of state must come from parliament, they are all in their ministry doing things, and so they don't get time to carry out their parliamentary duties or responsibilities. But there must be that separation of power where we see parliament really executing their duty and playing their oversight responsibility well. But then how do you play your oversight responsibility when majority of the people in the executive are also members of parliament? How do you evaluate yourselves like that? So I think this recommendation is a point, is the point in the right direction. People, we must avoid this. If you want to be a member of parliament, be a member of parliament. Do your job, carry out your oversight responsibility, spend time with your constituents, and bring development to the people. That's it. We cannot let you have two different hats. You are the minister of this, and you're also a member of parliament for this. Because sometimes you look at parliament and they are doing business, and parliament is virtually empty, especially on the majority side or the government in power side. Why? Because majority of those people have been appointed by the president, and so they are carrying out their duties in their ministries. So maybe your MP has been appointed as a minister of something, minister of education or minister of communication. And several times you will join and try to watch the live stream. They are not in parliament. So you'll be like, so this member of parliament never goes to parliament? Because they have to carry out other responsibilities and other duties. So I think this recommendation is a point in the right direction, and that should be a good thing. That should be a good thing. Another recommendation that the committee made was to abolish death penalty. Okay? They recommend removing death penalty from the Constitution entirely for all offenses. Because, death penalty, dear Charlie, whatever, so it means no matter the offense you commit or the crime you commit, death penalty shouldn't be an answer. So maybe we can give you 255 years. Yeah, but to say death penalty, let's hang you, that is not a good recommendation. In my opinion, it depends, because there is a place for some of those things. In that regard, there are some developed economies that will still have this death penalty things in their constitution, and they do it is because sometimes it is to prevent a certain size, or if you want, gravity of crimes, and to make it unattractive for people to commit such crimes, right? But there are arguments on the other side who are like, hey, or there are some people on the other side who argue that, hey, it's not fair, it's inhumane that you put someone there and then, death penalty, either by hanging or take them to firing squad or give them an electric shock or something like that, or in some in other procedures, and then boom, they are gone. You are taking life. That is not a good thing. So there is a place in other developed economies where they are able to balance this, that there are certain crimes, when you commit them, it is better we take you out of the society rather than putting you in jail and be feeding you and spending money on you. So I think that I will be in support of this to some extent, but also we need to look at it carefully to identify whether this will keep and achieve the goal we wanted to achieve. Another thing that they recommended was to cap the number of ministers. They say that it limits the total number of ministers of states, including deputies, to a maximum of 57. And I think this is a great recommendation by the the Committee on Constitution Review Committee. 57 ministers. It's okay. It's okay, because you look at our country, Ghana. At a time, there was a time in the past where we had over 100 ministers. 100 ministers. And these are ministers of state, deputy ministers, and some ministries even had more than one deputies, allegedly. So we had over 100 ministers. What are we doing? So capping it at 57, I think it's great. Below 60 is good. All right, there are other developed economies, big countries, who don't have 100 ministers, but the country is being run. So far, under the Mahama administration, I think we have about, is it 58 or so ministers? Because we don't have a dedicated Minister of Defense yet. I think the president said after the Christmas holidays in the new year, he's going to make the appointment. So we don't have, but the deputy is acting. And I think the finance minister is also acting also as the Minister of Defense currently. So we don't have defense minister now, but the person will be appointed after the holidays as the president has recommended. So capping the number below 60, in my opinion, will be a good thing, because it saves the country a lot of resources. How can a small country like Ghana, and we have 100 ministers? What are we doing? Like what? And some ministries will have 2 deputies. What are you doing with 2 deputy ministers? The chief director of the ministry is there. There are other administrative heads in the ministry. They can help the minister to do what is supposed to be done. So in that case, it will be important and better off to cap our members of parliament, ministers, to 57. Below 60 is a good thing, in my opinion. Below 60 is a good thing, in my opinion. That will help a lot, and that will really, really save the country a lot of money. We don't have room for 100 members, 100 ministers of state. What are they doing? What are they doing? 100 ministers of state. We don't need 100 ministers of state. Below 60 is good. Again, it will reduce friction. It will reduce overlay, because in the past, we had ministries we have dedicated ministries, then we have ministers of state, then we have ministers at the presidency. So you ask yourself, what is the role? So when there is an issue and they are asking somebody about the same thing you are a minister of, then the person will be like, oh, I don't know anything about this. So can you ask the designated minister? Then I'm like, but what are you? Aren't you the minister? You are. So capping to 57 below 60, in my opinion, is a good thing that a government that's the Constitutional Review Committee is proposing, and it's something we can go in for in that case. Another thing is that they said we should elect the local leaders directly. For instance, they are mandating that elections of Metropolitan Municipal District Chief Executives be held. You know, currently it's about appointment. And even under this administration, when the President Mahama, appointed some MCs and DCs, people came out and they were demonstrating that, oh, this person doesn't deserve it. This person is not supposed to be the MC or the DCE. And so the president is doing all those appointments. The Constitutional Review Committee is saying that, hey, it is something that the metropolis, the local assembly, it is for the people there. So if it is for the people there, then president doesn't know what the people want. For that reason, it'll be better we vote for them. Now, that also has its advantages and disadvantages, because it then means that would turn into another political ground. But to some extent, maybe it's a good thing to do, to vote for some of these people. Just like how in US, mayors and co are voted for, like you vote for these local government administrators in that case. Because if we are voting for the members of parliament, and we vote for the president, then the local administrative heads, like the mayor, DCE, and MCs, they must also be voted for. I think it's a point in the right direction. So that's a good recommendation, in my opinion, that when it's executed or implemented, will be good. Then another thing that they also mentioned was to empower citizens to amend the Constitution. Allow citizens to initiate constitutional amendment with sufficient public signature support. Now, this is an interesting one. So what the Constitutional Review Committee is saying is that if there is a subsection or there is something in the law, in the Constitution that we don't like, people can put it out, and then if they have sufficient public signature support, then that thing could be expunged, removed, or amended, which is a good thing. Okay, because we cannot put constitutional review in the hands of just some few people as and when they deem it fit. If citizens have a certain number of signatures, public signatures, and they can all be authenticated, because now in this day and age with AI and, AR, there are a lot of fraudulent signatures that can be raised. So allowing this could also create a certain platform. Just that we must find a way to verify those signatures, because somebody can launch a support for a certain amendment in the Constitution and will say, hey, people should go and fill it out. People should go and sign it. Maybe later on you realize that, oh, all the signatories were not legitimate people or were not even citizens of Ghana. because it is the citizens of Ghana who can call for amendment of their constitution. What if that form ends up in another country's citizens or foreigners to infiltrate it and do something that we don't want to do? So that action, I think it's in two folds and has a certain level of potential. But if that has to be approved, in my opinion, it must be done very well to ensure that people are not taking advantage of the system. Then another recommendation that they made was that allow dual citizenship in parliament. Remove the ban preventing citizens or Ghanaians, dual citizens, from being elected as members of parliament. Because if you want to be a member of parliament in Ghana and you have dual citizenship, it means you're a citizen of Ghana and a citizen of other country, then you must denounce your citizenship in that country. Then you can come and stand and be elected. Remember the famous Jachi Kwesen under the previous parliament? I think he was a Canadian citizen, and he denounced his Canadian citizenship to be able to be the member of parliament. But for some reason, after he won the election, the opponents and some people sued him and the Electoral Commission that at the time that he was filling out his form, he hadn't officially denounced his citizenship in Canada. So he was still a citizen of Canada, and as a citizen of Ghana, that means he had a dual citizen, so he was disqualified from even contesting the race in the first place. So that was something that really dragged that Jachi Kwesen case and made his life, not comfortable, in my opinion, because you have won the election decisively, but now your legitimacy is being challenged. So the Constitutional Review Board or committee is saying that, hey, can we remove that? But then that is also another thing you got to be careful, because if we have somebody with dual citizenship and the person is a citizen of a foreign country and the person is a citizen of Ghana and the person is now becoming a member of parliament, whose interest will the person be promoting? Will the person be promoting Ghanaian interest or the interest of the country in which he or she is also a citizen of? That's a crucial thing. So if Ghana and that country are in a certain conflict, or there is something that we need to negotiate, now that this person is a dual citizen and is involved in the two countries, what will be the position of the person? Will we say, oh, let he or she stay out of the decision? No, maybe we need a certain number of people to approve or reject it, then we can move ahead. So on one side, it may be good, but on the other side, may not be right, because it may have a lot of conflict of interest issues in that case. Because if I'm a citizen of another country, and I'm a citizen also of Ghana, dual citizenship, and I'm torn between the two countries, I need to protect one of the two countries, which of the two will I go for? So I think we shouldn't allow this to say that people with dual citizenship to serve in parliament. If you want to serve in parliament, then you got to denounce your citizenship. That's just straightforward, in my opinion. You need to denounce your citizenship. Because I want to check this. Give me a sec. Let me check this. All right, so that is it about that. So there is a thin line there. Who will you stand for? There are some other examples of this because I was trying to check whether this is allowed in other jurisdictions. And yes, in the United States, for instance, it's allowable there. So, for instance, there are some examples here that I want to maybe share with you. Ted Cruz, who is a senator, he was born in Canada and held Canadian citizenship until he formally renounced it in 2014 while already serving as a U.S. senator. Then we have Mazie Hirono, who also a senator born in Japan. She's a naturalized U.S. citizen. Japan generally does not allow dual citizenship for adults, but from the U.S. perspective, her place of birth was not a disqualifier. Then Benny Moreno, senator-elect, born in Colombia, he is set to serve in the Senate starting in 2025. So, although it's legally allowed, it can be politically sensitive issue. I mean, security clearance and things. That was what I was saying, right? That even if we should allow this dual citizenship things, like it's going to be some way. So whose interest are you going to be protecting? Is it Ghana's interest or the other country which you are also a citizen of? Like, that is the thing. And if the two countries are at war, who are you going to stand for? So that is why sometimes many politicians who are exposed to that dual citizenship, they have to denounce one because you don't want to have that back and forth discussion there. So that's also another thing that the Constitutional Review Committee recommended. Then another thing is create an independent anti-corruption commission. Establishes a new commission with exclusive independent power to prosecute corruption cases. I don't know why in this country we like to do a lot of double things. We have the Attorney General Department who is responsible for dealing with all, cases like this. Then we said, no, IOCO is there, Financial Intelligence Bureau is there, and all of those people are there, but they don't have prosecutorial authority. So if they have something, they bring it to the Attorney General, then the Attorney General will take it up. Then we said, the Attorney General is appointed by the President, so they lack the independence to really take the issues up. So we created the Office of the Special Prosecutor to deal with corruption-related issues and cases, and the Special Prosecutor has that prosecutorial authority to prosecute people. Now, just some few years after the establishment of the Special Prosecutor, the Commission is suggesting, and we have Shraj also there, okay? We have Shraj also there, saying that they should create another independent anti-corruption commission. In my opinion, this is useless. It shouldn't come. We don't need another commission, anti-corruption commission. It's enough. Okay? We have IOCO. We have FIC. Okay? We have the Attorney General. We have the Office of the Special Prosecutor. I think we only need to empower some of these institutions well. Recently, there was a move to scrap the the Office of the Special Prosecutor by the majority leader and the majority chief whip in Parliament. And they were called by the President to drop their argument because, that thing would have really passed easily, to drop it so that we can rather look at the things well and improve the Office of the Special Prosecutor to really carry out its mandate well. So I think we need an empowerment of the Special Prosecutor's Office, not to establish another anti-corruption commission. How many anti-corruption do we want? How many? We have Shraj there. We have Attorney General, IOCO is there. FIC is there. Office of Special Prosecutor is there. Now you want to establish another one? Abba Ghana. Up until when will we, stop commission? So in my opinion, this is not something that we should go for in that particular case. Let me know if there are any questions for me. Let me see if I can pull up. I'm seeing some comments here. Let's see if I can bring them up. I don't know. Um, I can't bring the slide up. Okay. I guess. All right. So again, Merry Christmas to everybody, and really wanted to jump on the call and share some things with you. Wishing you all the best in the season and in the day. Make sure you have fun responsibly, okay? Make sure you have fun responsibly because life is good, but make sure you enjoy it in modesty. And I'll catch you in the next episode as we continue with the discussion. Thanks for joining me and spending some of your time with me, and I'll see you in the next one.